Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe, that is Adam McCullough. We are here for Transfers Live. Raphael Varane set to rejoin Real Madrid tomorrow for training, and he's going to go in and he's going to say, I want to fucking go.
He's going to go in and he's going to go, screw you guys, I'm going home.
Old Trafford. We're also going to be talking about Saul Niguez. We're going to be talking about Kieran Trippier, the latest on that. That seemed to go away, and he's coming back again now.
I did say at the time, I feel this one's that's going to be done at the end of the window.
Interesting.
Similar to Alex Telles.
A little bit more on Paul Pogba and Pellistri, and Lingard's future has been addressed.
Gary Pellistri.
Gary Pellistri, is that how you like him?
What a man. Did you think he looked like Park Ji-sung on the pitch?
I know what you mean. It didn't jump to mind the way it did for you and Jay yesterday. But
Someone else said Messi.
Fucking hell, you pushed
I think that was because of how good he was.
Yeah, that was just quality-wise rather than looks.
But for me, the hair had him look like Park Ji. It's kind of like sometimes, I don't know if you ever had this problem when Alexis Sanchez was at United. I confuse Sanchez and Lingard a lot for each other because of the fades and the skin tones. Very similar.
Yeah, and they're both similar height. Obviously, Sanchez is a bit broader, but you can't really tell from a distance.
Jesse Lingard, 3 times the player, obviously.
Yeah, for United. That's not even a joke.
For anyone.
Well, maybe pushing it there. Let's start with Saul Niguez then, because that's been a sort of surprise package in the last few days, hasn't it? First of all, you hear Liverpool coming in for him. That was last week. Then at the end of the week, sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's all about Real Madrid, maybe some sort of swap deal going on. That's what's going on. And then in the last couple of days, we're hearing, actually, you know what? United are interested. He wants to maybe come to the Premier League. Maybe that side of things is more likely. And this is from AS. They are reporting that Barcelona, Liverpool and Manchester United are 3 possible destinations for Saul Niguez. And it kind of comes down to whether he wants to play in the Premier League or not. Do you want him, first of all? I know we've talked about it.
I think he's a fantastic player. I like him. I'd take him. Whether he's that true number 6 that we need is another story. But if you're asking me, would I take Saul at Manchester United? The answer is yes. Do I believe this story? I'm not too sure. I really am not too sure, because we had heard Barcelona and Atletico Madrid were in negotiations on a swap deal with money, with Griezmann and Saul going in opposite directions.
Directions. One's going one way, and the other one going in completely the other way.
They're passing each other on the M-way.
They might do.
You know what I mean?
M-way.
So they're going past each other on the old highway and going to their clubs. But that's stalled. We've also heard Liverpool are one of the clubs interested in Saul and potentially looking to sign him. And then last night, we start hearing these things. United are back in the race. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if you've looked at him in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if you've said, let us know what goes on there, keep us afloat of everything that's happening. But do I really think he's going to come to Manchester United? No. I feel like we'll be pulled into this. His agent, Jonathan Barnett, is Gareth Bale's agent, Eduardo Camavinga's agent, all those kind of guys' agents. So is this just because we've been speaking with Barnett about Camavinga and the press are thinking, all right, 2 + 2 = 6, and you know what clubs are like? And then what? We're not really in for him, but they've used it to try and force this deal to happen quicker.
Barca.
He goes Liverpool or Barca, and it's, United wanted him, he's rejected
United. The reason for is snubbed. That's what they say.
I don't think this is the one that's going to happen, no.
Let us know in the comments what you think. First of all, do you want him? Second of all, do you think there's any sort of fire with this smoke? Do you know what? He wouldn't be my first choice. I know everyone seems to love him. I think he's very good, but he didn't get picked for the Spain squad for the Euros. And, not that Spain are shit, but it's not the best Spain squad ever. And that's not the whole...
You got I know Pedri is amazing. Yeah. You got a 19-year-old
there. And you got Dani Olmo, who had a very good tournament, but isn't a world star by any means getting in. And again, just because you didn't get picked for one tournament doesn't mean you're shit. I get that. I'm not trying to say it is. But there's part of me that thinks, do we kind of have a few players like him, or is he somewhere between Pogba, McTominay? Is he just not sort of fit in that sort of miasma of similarity that we already have? We need someone that stands out, that does something different, or maybe we don't. Maybe we need someone like him.
Though prefer him in a 2 alongside Pogba than Fred or McTominay.
Yeah.
His defensive attributes are stronger, in my opinion. His work rate is always there. His tackling ability, he gets around. Yes, he might be more of a box to box, but his goals and assists, he doesn't get many of those.
No.
So it's weird for us then to be going, hold on, this guy isn't a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get goals or assists either. No. So what are you? Are you a Fred? So I do feel like he could work in a 2 with Pogba in a 4-2-3-1 if that's what we wanted to do. But in a 4-3-3 with Bruno and Pogba might be a little bit too saucy.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it like we don't quite have enough when the pressure's against us, those 20-minute spells that pretty much every team has against United, where you're thinking, oh, hang on a sec, Brighton are putting a few minutes together here. Are we a little bit, like I said, a bit too saucy going forward with them three? I mean, I'd like him, get the depth, get players in. But again, I'm almost forgetting about Donny. Like, I know he's not the same as Donny, but that's another midfielder that kind of is in between roles at the minute.
I was reading a story, I don't know whether we're covering it later, where Donny was linked with MUFC Juventus, which could possibly happen.
We're not covering it later, so let's
And when you look at Aaron Ramsey potentially leaving there, Cristiano Ronaldo potentially leaving there, they're freeing up a lot of their wage bill. Maybe that's something that they could potentially do. But one of the things with our midfield that confuses me, even if we're looking at Camavinga, we're looking at Declan Rice, we're looking at Saul, whoever, if we're looking at a DM, like there's no talk about Matic.
No.
Fred, let's be real, he's not going anywhere. Scott McTominay isn't going anywhere.
No, certainly
Question
not.
marks over Pogba. Like, the mere fact that there's no talk about Fred.
He ain't going anywhere.
And that's not me being a scumbag to him and saying but come on. We know that's the position we need to prove on. And there doesn't seem to be that urgency there. Does he think, Ollie, Varane, you know how we look at it and think, this team needs we think it needs a centre-back as well, so it's not what we're saying. But we look at it and think, to play 4-3-3, this team needs a better DM. Do you think Ollie looks at it and thinks, to play 4-3-3, this team needs a better centre-back partnership?
Maybe.
Because he may see things differently.
I think it's the recovery side of Varane that's so important. The pace, but how he can... Like we saw it so many times in the Euros with Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker, I think, on the ball, had a pretty average to poor tournament. He gave the ball away a hell of a lot. His positioning wasn't great. But there was half a dozen times at least where the ball's being played over Maguire and Stones and it's Kyle Walker's pace getting him out. Kyle Walker's pace getting him out of trouble. And I think he was the difference in terms of facing his own goal. He got him out of so many problems. And I think that's what Varane does. When the ball goes through Fred, or let's say we don't have Fred, let's say we play Bruno, McTominay, Pogba, or even if it is Fred, Bruno, Fred, Pogba, when the ball gets played past him or he's out of position and the ball gets played over the top or the ball gets played in behind, you've got Varane's pace to cover. Maybe, like you said, they're doing it sort of back to front rather than... We were saying before, one of the reasons maybe, or in the past we've said, one of the reasons maybe our defence doesn't look great is because our midfield doesn't shield them enough. Well, it's like we're going the other way, isn't it? Maybe our midfield doesn't look great because our defence concedes too many goals and can't bail themselves out of problems enough.
Because one of the things that, like if you look at England even, a lot of United fans may have watched that as a neutral. Not everyone's from England, not everyone supports England, even if they are. So if you watch that as a neutral and you watch them with Harry Maguire and without Harry Maguire, England without Harry Maguire were really poor. Their midfield looked worse.
Yep.
I know Calvin Phillips was man of the match in the first game, but hear me out.
But that was just because he got the
assist. Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of where we set up on the pitch, where we started attacks, everything was different. Maybe that's what he thinks. Bring in Varane, bring in Maguire means we start games higher up the pitch, which means, Fred isn't as close to his goal. McTominay isn't as close to his goal. Pogba isn't as close to his goal.
There's not as much space behind him as well.
So maybe that's what Ollie's looking at. Maybe we're thinking, we need a DM, which I still think we do, but maybe he's not.
Yeah, and maybe it depends the sort of school of thought. Like Arsenal for years seemed to try to buy midfielders like out of their problems, didn't they? When there's a problem, let's get another midfielder. Whereas City, I know they've got loads of midfielders, but they seem to buy centre backs. Like we've got a problem, let's get another centre back. So maybe we're going sort of that angle a little bit more. But speaking of centre backs, let's move on to Raphael Varane, who we have been constantly linked with, it seems, recently.
Is this all feeling a bit too easy for you at the moment?
Well, that's what I want to bring up to you. Let me just read what we're saying here. Manchester United ready to make bid. I believe that's what we're going forward to start with. Yes, it is. Manchester United ready to make bid for Varane. United are confident that personal terms would not be a problem and are prepared to offer the Frenchman a contract until 2026. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano via The Guardian. Obviously does an article for them. United have gone from it started off with personal terms. That's what they were negotiating for. They're speaking to Varane, they're speaking to his people. Here's what we want to give you. We see there the 2026 contract. The step after that, once the sort of personal terms have been agreed, which supposedly they have, is now making that bid to Real Madrid, which is the next step.
And just on that point, Manchester United, we may make unofficial bids or negotiate with clubs.
Yeah.
United, over the last couple of years, since Aaron Ramsey actually, remember when we bid for Aaron Ramsey, put it on our website.
We announced him, yeah.
Put it on our website, and then he never signed. Since then, Manchester United do not make bids for players unless they know the player's going to join the club.
Yeah.
So they would have, it's tapping up, you could call it nowadays, but they make sure the player wants to join before they make a bid, which means you won't hear an official bid until we know he starts.
Yeah.
He wants to join United.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Now, I think this is done,
Right. Can I be the voice of fear?
Yeah.
Real Madrid, reportedly Varane is set to go back to Real Madrid tomorrow, isn't he? Or
He's
Wednesday.
he's got to go back to training on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. There's part of me that thinks the fact that, again, rumoured, he hasn't even responded to his last contract offer. He hasn't rejected it. He obviously hasn't, accepted it. He hasn't even responded. Part of me thinks we are going to enter the next phase of this negotiation now. He's either going to come back and go, it's going to become clear in the next few days that actually this was a scam, this was a ploy to get more money, or we're going to go, fuck it, this is happening. I think by Thursday night, we'll know what's going on with this. But there's part of me that's worried that he's playing it cool to try and get more money from Real Madrid.
You think he's going to go back in on Wednesday and they're going to go, here's the money you want?
Yeah.
That's not happening. I really don't see that happening, bro. They're talking about us getting him for 250 grand a week, and he's dying at that. They weren't going to give him...
That's apparently roughly double what he's on now.
Exactly. They weren't going to give him what Alaba's on at the moment. Real Madrid aren't going to crack here. They're not in a position to. I think this is very, very different to the Sergio Ramos story. Very different. And I think Raphael Varane, 2 years ago, possibly wants to leave. I think he wants to leave not just for money. Obviously, the money's good at United. Yeah. Experience, Premier League. There's also talking, was a United fan when he was younger. I don't know too much about that.
So why hasn't he rejected the offer then? Why isn't he rejected that Real Madrid?
Ignoring it is rejecting it. Because ignoring it, if you sent me an offer and I want to stay, I'm probably going to try and negotiate with you. If you send me an offer and I go, they've offered me less than Alaba again. Fuck these cunts.
All right then.
Then I'm off. I'm not even replying to you that anymore.
But how about if I give you an offer and think he'll accept this, and then all of a sudden I hear you're chatting with this team, then I'm thinking shit, we need to get our act together.
But I don't think Real Madrid are thinking shit.
They can do that. You think they're willing for him to leave?
Yeah. They ain't got money.
What are they going to do? Just play Militao, Fernandes, and Alaba? Not bad.
Omar Hashem joined. Dylan Ducey.
Yeah.
€2 super chat says VDS Van der Sar joined at 35. Heaton is 35. 21 is coming. I told you Heaton was going to be our number one, didn't I?
Yeah.
And now I knew there was a good reason for that. Deep down, I knew it's because he is the same age as Van der Sar.
Go on. Cal Donnelly said Lindelof is a better option at centre back than McFred are at 6. Happy with our transfer targets, but I feel our priorities are wrong. We've kind of mentioned that before, haven't we? But obviously, Ollie thinks differently, doesn't he? They obviously think that the centre-back is more of an issue at the moment than the defensive midfield.
No. Because, let me just find the word that he used there so I don't misquote him. I feel our priorities are wrong. A right winger was needed. That was a massive priority.
That's definitely a priority.
That's done.
I think he means between centre-back and DM.
But how do you judge, and I'm not, Carl's welcome to his opinion, and he might be right. But how do you judge what is the priority out of two key positions?
Yeah,
when you need both of them, do you know what I mean? It's like, Joe, I'm missing an ear and an eye.
Yeah.
And I'm finally found my ear now, and you're going, but what about your eye?
Yeah.
But I need an ear too.
Yeah, that's a point. I agree with you. I agree. And also, it's
You can't find eyes, by the way.
Yeah, and also one of the main reasons we're getting Varane, if we are getting Varane, is because he's in the last year of his contract. If, let's say, Ndidi was in the last year of his contract, it may well be the case that he was the one we're going for. He's the one that's going to get done first. I think we've got quite a lot of circumstantial sort of, what's the word?
Evidence?
No, not evidence. Circumstantial reasons why we're going for Varane and not a CDM, as well as just the fact that we want a centre back.
Also, we've been linked with Camavinga, we've been linked with Saul. Now I know them probably not that out and out. See, number 6 isn't that, but is a defensive midfielder at CD. Like it's FIFA stuff, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's really.
Because also, like a deep line midfielder and a defensive midfielder, are they the same thing?
Would you call Carrick? When people Carrick joined United, no one would have went, he's a CDM.
No. And yet he played in front of the defence.
Yeah.
Sat back, passed balls around, made interceptions, and you didn't need another.
But you'd look at Fred and go, he's a
CDM.
CDM.
Yeah.
Shit.
Sorry,
Fred.
Which one did you read before? Because
I'll read Baffler Sons.
Yes.
If we get Trippier and Varane, do we play 3-4-1-2? It's a possibility.
No.
It's a possibility though, because Wan-Bissaka could be the third centre back.
I think we can do on occasion, but I don't think we will mostly. I think it'll be 4-3-3.
It said, by the way, great podcast. At the end, Ollie and Progress.
Thank you.
Surav Mukherjee says, Maguire will partner well with Varane. We need to sort out DM if we need to make any significant progress this season. Huge season ahead. Glory, glory, Man United.
It is a huge season ahead.
It is indeed.
I think we've got.
Greg's also given us a blank one.
Thank you very much, Greg. I think we've got another Varane quote as well. United remain in talks with Varane's representatives. A deal for Varane could be closer than we think. Will we see more transfers in this window if Varane signs? You sort of alluded to it there. I think we will see more transfers. I think it will probably be in midfield if it's going to be anywhere.
And as we're saying with Varane, he's not only ignored them. The reports from Spain tonight are he's telling them, gone. I'm out of here. He's got more European Cups than us, Joe.
That's mad, isn't it? Pretty much anyone who played for Real Madrid in the last few years has got more European Cups than Man United.
He's got 4, we've got 3.
That's insane, isn't it?
We shouldn't sign him for that reason alone,
right? That's too
right?
much, isn't it?
It's embarrassing,
He's
isn't it?
bigger than Man United.
He turns up and he goes, I say 68, 99, and 08.
3, we've just got 3, which is, second most in England. So, not bad.
I've won 3 in the last 10 years.
Excuse me?
What?
4?
4. I've lost count of mine.
Yeah. Right, fuck off then. Pau Torres, come on, what you want? Fuck all, good lad, get in.
I want Pau Torres just to sign because of that merch idea we had. That's such a good idea. He had a Pau sign.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Right, let's move on. Speaking of transfers, this is Transfers Live. Let's talk about Kieran Trippier, or Trippier, as some people like to say. Kieran Trippier then. Atletico Madrid don't want to lose Trippier. AS report that Atletico Madrid don't want to lose the team that won them La Liga, and Trippier is seen as a key player. Give me your thoughts on this, because again, it looked like 6 weeks ago, before the season had even ended, United want Trippier. They're looking at around 10 to 20 million euros. Perfect. Then Atletico come out. We want 43 million euros. We want his buyout clause. But then in the last since the Euros ended, basically, we heard these rumours Trippier wants to leave, which to me smacks of him or his agent or his family or his camp coming out and saying he wants to join Man United. And then now is sort of the bounce back, the rebound of that, Atletico going, well, we know you want to leave, but we don't want you to leave. What's going to happen with this? Where do you see this one?
I think this one's one that gets done towards the end of the window.
Yeah.
And I think that because he's obviously on holiday. He's got an extended break because of the Euros. I think being an experienced player, being someone that knows the Premier League, being someone that's from the country, I think there could be that, well, if it happens close to the end, it's not the end of the world. We've got Wan-Bissaka, we can deal with this later. And I think trying to get Atletico down on their price.
Yes.
He's got 1 year left in his contract. Is that right?
Trippier. I think he's got 2 years left in his contract.
All right,
keep going.
Whatever, his contract's going to run down, so his value is going to drop. They'll start thinking, shall we just take this? And I also think he might be a big factor in this.
Yeah.
When he joined them, did he have a plan? I want to be in Spain for X amount of time, then I want to go back to England. And I always feel when clubs buy English players, they probably buy them knowing he's probably going to go back at some point, and we can try and make some money off him. But that's probably what they're trying to do now, is make some money on him.
Has there ever been, and if there has, please let me know, and maybe in the 60s, 70s, or maybe there's one I'm not thinking of, a English player that has left England at, mid-20s and stayed at another club until they've retired? Obviously, Beckham bounced around Europe and America, but
he didn't come back to England, though.
He didn't come back to England, but he didn't stay at one club. He was very much a 2-year man.
Yeah, but
has there ever been someone who's... All right, then, an English player that's gone away and become a legend, as in
Waddle?
5+ years at another club, and,
Chris Waddle?
Where at?
Marseille?
Either, when's that, in the 90s, 80s? It's
Chris
very
Waddle
rare,
was-
isn't it? But this, Gary
Lineker came back, didn't he?
Yeah, there's countless, numbers of Italian, Spanish, French, German players that have come to England and become legends. You could David
Chris Waddle was
Silva.
only there for 3 years.
Like 3 years is a decent stint, but I'm talking 5, 6, 7
But
years.
he won 3 league titles and he was a European Cup runner-up with them.
Someone
Fucking hell.
mentioned Hargreaves. That might be a decent shout by him.
But that doesn't count.
Why?
Because he could have qualified for Germany, he could have qualified for Canada. And he was British.
Yeah.
So, and wasn't he born in Germany? And
Perhaps McManaman at Real Madrid.
came back,
Maybe.
didn't he, though? Man City and that.
Maybe Steve McManaman. Maybe is the best one people are saying. Bale again.
Nah. I'm not,
But he did win 4
he
Champions
won
League,
4
3
Champions League, but he also didn't want to
Yeah.
be there for 2.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Well, either way, English players generally don't go somewhere and like, fuck it, I love this.
Who
I'm
do you
staying
think's
for
been the
10 years.
best English player abroad?
I know, obviously, Bale isn't English, by the way, but British, we're talking. The best, let's say, British player abroad, I think it probably is Bale. In terms of what he's done, was a starting player when he was fit, one of the best teams ever. I guess it would have to be.
Because Michael only had a short-lived time at Real Madrid, didn't he?
Yeah,
He had one season there.
For some reason, English people just don't like it.
But
Well, generally
fortunately,
speaking, weird.
And I think this comes down to the change in culture as well. You're starting to look at kids now that parents maybe weren't born in England and travelled here, so they feel that they can maybe move about a little bit more. You look at Jadon Sancho, you look at, even like, was it Reece Oxford went to Germany at one point on loan? Like, there's a lot of them,
happening
few of the
more.
Arsenal lads have gone there.
But,
Players have been brave enough. Aaron Ramsey.
Well, I'm not knocking like the bravery or the,
no, but I'm saying
the willingness
there's
to
been a
go
lack of
abroad.
those.
Yeah,
It
over
used
the
to be
years.
a surprise when an English player went abroad, and now it's not.
Tom Greenwell said that happens with a lot of other nationalities, particularly foreigners who play in England. It does, but we can name, without even having to think,
Henri, Cantona.
innumerate list. David
Like,
Silva.
French. Let's stick to the French.
Yeah, French.
Vieira.
Yeah.
Cantona.
Pogba.
Henri.
Yeah,
Pogba.
yeah. Gallas.
Martial.
Yeah. Not so much. Evra. But
Giroud.
Club legends who have stayed at English clubs for a very long time. You don't even, Spain again, Germany. Germany's a bit less.
Do you know why?
But still, not like England.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because you see, I was going to use Kieran Trippier, but it's the wrong example. Because he's actually good. English players know they can sit on a bench here and earn 50 bags a week. Whereas they can't do that in Italy.
No.
They can't go to Italy, sit on a bench at Palermo or Inter, be shit and get 50 bags a week.
Not for...
You're going to get booed out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Like Gareth Bale won 4 Champions Leagues and got treated like
shit.
Paul Ince.
Yeah. Ronaldo used to get booed. Do you remember?
Waving the white flags at him.
Incredible.
Bro, Ronaldo, you're a prick,
Anyway,
Imagine,
go on.
you had all that love.
Yeah.
All that love.
All that lust.
All that lust.
Oof.
Singing your name.
It's hot in
Viva
here, but-
Ronaldo. Spinning the flags. And you go to them bellends.
If you've been selfish, it was perfect for him though, wasn't it? he absolutely wouldn't go, I fucked up there. No chance.
I think he does.
Christopher Singh, Adam, what are your thoughts, and this is good, he's turning Housen against you. What are your thoughts on Housen saying that fans like you only like Martial because he's a highlights player? I don't know exactly what Steve said. And
Fans like Steve
whether he
only dislikes Martial
like
because he
this.
doesn't know his brother.
I like this. He's done ya. Prince Varuhiz says, Joe Jesus, bless us so we win the title. I've already blessed everyone. We're going to win the title. I've done it already. Bathleson again.
You look like one of those... No, I'm going to say it.
Say it then. Come on then, say it.
Because I keep thinking the thing that I watched is a TV show and it was actually real life. So when I realised that, about to
Insulting a real
reference that
person.
show,
Right.
I'm actually criticising actual victims.
Real person. What is it? A cult leader?
Yeah.
Yeah. Martial, where do you think I got this flowing white gown from? I've got this like 15, 17-year-old sat cross-legged on the floor there watching this.
Oh, God.
Don't drink it yet. Wait till the end. Martial seems last chance saloon is as he's the third choice now behind Cavani and Mason and 2/3 of the what? Two-thirds choice on the left. Also, if everyone is fit.
Second or third choice on the left.
Okay, second or third choice on the left if everyone is fit. Thoughts? I mean, that's pretty true, isn't it, at the minute?
Well, no. Because on last season's form, you'd say Cavani goes into this season ahead of him. But when you know Cavani cannot start week in, week out, Cavani couldn't play Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup.
He'd quite simply die, wouldn't he?
He'd break.
He'd die, it's now.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think he starts as your joint top.
You heard it here first. Anthony Martial still Manchester United's first choice
Would
striker.
that be two equals? You know when...
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that?
Yeah.
Where he's...
Yeah.
He can't be third because...
No.
I
So
don't
we
think
go, it's
Mason...
Cavani and then Martial, but then the next person is third.
Yeah.
Equal first and then third.
Yeah. So that's how I think it is. And it would also depend on... I think tactically they give you something different. And I know you have a little bit of fun with me and, you know...
Yeah,
I know
ribbon.
I know a little bit of ribbon.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, I do think people are very quick to write him off and quick
me
to
too.
overlook him and quick to take him at his word for what it is. And just like those ladies post on Instagram, if you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Wow. As a single tear rolls down my eye and I slide into
Live, love, laugh and that.
sliding into their DMs. So basically we have to put up with Martial being shit.
No, that's not what I said.
That's essentially what you're saying.
Oh, people have only thought he's shit this year.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying he is shit. He's been shit for 12 months.
Yeah,
I'm
he's not shit though.
No, I'm
And I'll
not
tell you
saying he is.
something.
Okay.
Him and Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is people need to remember we've now got a real right winger. We haven't got a striker playing on the right.
No.
We haven't got a guy, a left forward who just wants to score. We've got a guy that's going to bring people into play.
Great assist.
And actually, Martial's going to love that. How many times Martial looking for the 1-2 and people just get their heads down and run past him or shoot the ball at him? I think now he's got someone to play off that'll help him.
You know,
It'll help Cavani. I keep saying Bruno's goals are going to drop off,
Yeah.
but everyone else's are going to.
Well, I hope so. I'll take it. Anyway, this isn't about Martial. Greg
Are you
00781 says, love the Paddock. Rarely get to listen live and lob in super chats. Thank you very much for doing so. Varane will be a game changer for us. CDM and Ole has to deliver a title. Kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. If you haven't listened to the Paddock podcast, make sure you check it out. It's on YouTube. It's also on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, everywhere. We were talking earlier about if Ole doesn't win a trophy this season, will that be the end for him? Let's move on to Paul Pogba then. As we tend to do as
I love
Manchester
this.
United
Headers
fans. Go on.
commented, Camavinga's little brother is wearing a Man United shirt on Snapchat. How did anybody know Camavinga's brother's Snapchat?
Done deal, mate.
But how does that happen, bro? You don't know my brother's Snapchat.
I don't know your Snapchat.
I don't have Snapchat.
That's why.
But I do, but I don't use
Oh,
it.
for fuck's sake. So you know.
No, I have one, so you could add me. So I don't want you to search me later and go, you said you didn't have Snapchat,
Right, so that's
but
why
I
you
found
told
you.
the truth then.
But
You
I
were
don't-
willing to lie.
I don't use it.
Yeah. Same.
But like, you don't know my brother's Snapchat.
No.
But someone's found Eduardo Camavinga's brother's Snapchat. Some little year 9 kid from France
Impressive though, innit?
going to school in a United shirt.
Funny, innit? Right, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba not interested in PSG move. The Athletic report that Pogba's contract discussions will go on into the new season, and sources suggest that Pogba is open to staying. This does my head in this, because every time we heard Fabrizio say it, we're hearing it in the Athletic, we're hearing it everywhere. Pogba is willing to stay at Manchester United. Does that mean he's willing to sign a new contract, which is great, which is what we all want? Or does it mean he's just willing to run his contract down for a year? He's willing to stay for this year and no more? Because if that's what it means, I don't want that. It's not like some great news that Paul Pogba's willing to screw us over. What do you think? Paul Pogba's willing to stay? What you got? Whose Snapchat are you on? Someone kid's Snapchat. Fuck off. Right.
It's actually real.
I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. So apparently,
I know how to help.
Camavinga, we're talking about his brother's Snapchat, right? I'm thinking some like 20-year-old lad who's like him and his brother, similar age.
That's someone's brother in their garden. It's not Camavinga's.
That, and you can't see it properly, is a 6-year-old boy wearing a Man United shirt. Not some adult that has any bearing on where Camavinga goes. That is a child. Who cares if he's got a United shirt on?
Manchester United are a big fucking club.
I thought it might be one of those situations where it's like it's his brother, but it's also his manager. So like he's dropping his. He's 5 years old. If that. That's a toddler in a United kit.
Also, one of France's biggest players plays for Man United.
Unbelievable.
It's almost like there isn't a connection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go on then. Paul Pogba. He's willing to stay, but what does that even mean?
Look, I'll say it once, say it twice, say it third time.
Say it 3 times.
Sign the contract before this transfer window closes or sell him.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I love Paul Pogba. I want him to be here next season. I want him to be playing for Manchester United for the foreseeable future. But what I don't want is just going into this new season, contract negotiations up in the air, he's possibly joining another club. Yeah. We're trying to get him to sign a new deal. Yeah. The time's ticking closer to January. Raola's gearing up to speak to clubs.
Oh, not just going to speak to clubs. He's going to be out in the press, fucking swinging his cock around, trying to be like, "Oh, well, Paul Pogba, who shall see?"
United haven't even offered him a contract.
United haven't even said anything. He don't even play for United. Who is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? All that crap he comes out with. We're like, what even say?
And we need to put that to bed right now, like Jay Holiday. Choose to put it to bed and move on, or sell him and bring in Jack Grealish. Saul Niguez. Let's not pretend there's no options around now.
No, there's options.
And I love Pogba. For me, if I was to pick a team, forget Pogba's in it. Out of all the players in the world, Pogba would be in my team. But
he's best. I think he's the best midfielder.
Just don't lie to me. But just if you're gonna stay, stay.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna stay, don't stay. Do you think United are confident he's gonna sign then? If they just get through this transfer, because why would a club want him to go in? Why would they want to take negotiations into this? Do you get what I mean?
I've got 2 words for you. Ander Herrera. We've literally done the exact same thing with a midfielder.
No, but you
2
feel
years
like
ago.
This United team with Ollie is
it's a bit more well put together.
Why would Ollie allow that? Is he happy to just let him go for a free?
You've just got to hope he isn't happy and he wouldn't allow that.
Do you think at United, we were talking earlier,
Yeah.
maybe Ollie sees the 4-3-3 thing as a centre-back issue rather than a midfield issue? Do you know how we look at this and think, just take the 40, 50 million quid now? Do you reckon Ollie looks at it like Dortmund looked at Sancho last year? We could get 100 million now, or we can take 70 million next year, and we'll have got close to our objectives because we've got this player here. Yeah. Do you think that's how he looks at it? I don't care if he goes for free. I would just want to have him part of this team with Varane and Sancho and all that.
Well, there's another starting player for Manchester United that we know is leaving at the end of the season, but we don't mind because we think he can bring us trophies now, and that's Cavani. So we're already... I know it's not the same situation because Cavani's either going to retire or probably drop down a standard. But what I'm saying is, we're clearly going... We think something is happening next year. We're willing to forego long-term sort of stability in certain positions for the sake of the right man for now. Maybe they are doing that for
There's
Pogba.
Also, and again, this is a bit of a stretch, but I'm just thinking here, it's not an opinion, it's almost a thought. They could be looking at it and thinking, Dylan Levitt, James Garner, Hannibal Medjbury coming through.
Maybe.
Can we just get by these next 2 years and develop these lads and hopefully they come from their loan moves looking good?
Yep. Prince Varugis, again, has said, the Camavingas on Snapchat are not real. There's an Anish Camavinga and even Ramesh Camavinga.
Ramesh Camavinga?
I mean, Ramesh Camavinga...
Ramesh, he's from India, bro. He's not... He's Kamasinga more like. Bro, what is going on, man?
Beyond Batia says, is United capable of selling Pogba? I don't know, but we won't get much money from him even if we did, but I think we're capable of selling him. It doesn't seem like anyone wants him. They all like, oh yeah, he's cool.
You man telling me... Should I tell you a funny story? Yeah?
Go on then. It doesn't end in any like animal death, does it?
Nah, there's this kid in school in it,
God, human death
and he
instead.
had a visible boner, like in a lesson, like in front of class. So a stiffy became called a Ramesh.
Why was his name Ramesh? You didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Right, so
I was trying to get through it without revealing his name, but then I revealed his
so
name.
you go, "Oh, lad's got a Ramesh." You say that, and I bet he wasn't absolutely traumatised by that. What's it? School kids are so mad, aren't they? Fucking hell.
Yeah. Oh, miss, got a Ramesh. Or you move your chair. Move your table.
Knocking everyone's pens all over the place, pencils flying about. Visible boner, by the way, is a really awful phrase. So I'd prefer if you didn't say that again.
What else would I have said there?
Oh yeah, you couldn't have phrased it any other way, but the term visible boner is just disturbing.
Pitching a tent.
Well done, very nice. You could have just said he had a Ramesh. And I'd have had to somehow work it out. Hope to have gone to your school. Right, let's move on then. A couple of outs before we go. Obviously, we mentioned Paul Pogba there, but Facundo Pellistri is another one. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yesterday basically saying he's going on loan. I can see a loan deal for him. There's been loads of interest. Fucking got loads of birds after him. Hey, I go out on an art, fucking loads of interest, yeah? Really selling it there, isn't it?
Anything concrete? No,
Not really, no. A couple of numbers, but half of them have got 9 digits. They're just trying to get me to move on. Yeah, I can see loads. I can see a loan deal. I can see a loan deal for him. I don't think he's going to be in the first.
Someone
team
just
deal.
asked me to look down the camera at them. So one sec.
Shit. Who's that for?
They're called United We Stand. Not the fanzine, but
Someone else. Pellistri on loan? Makes sense, doesn't it?
to United.
No.
Yeah, I'd take him.
Come on.
Yes, please. I don't mind seeing Tahith and Facundo have another 2 weeks with us on pre-season. Wait for the rest of the lads to come back. But yeah, let's not get giddy. Let's not get carried away. Let's not get excited. Let's realise that these young lads need to go through the rigours of a season, and I think it'd be good for him. Where's he going? Spain?
I'm not sure yet.
I would like to see him
Well,
stay in
there's
England,
been
you know.
bloody loads of offers, mate.
You know Facundo?
They're fucking throwing myself at me. That's him. That's what it's about.
I want him to stay in England because he's come from Uruguay. Mm-hmm. Come from Uruguay to United. Then how do you get up to speed with English football by then taking him out? Unless you send him somewhere similar like Germany.
Portugal.
I think Germany is more closer to English football than that.
Yeah, I could see that. And finally then, Jesse Lingard. We kind of talked about this on the podcast, so we'll just sort of go over it briefly, bringing obviously the transfer news and transfers live. This is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say on Jesse Lingard. He's come back bright, confident, and with lots of energy. I think everyone saw what he did at the end of last season with West Ham. He's still in my plans. I expect him at Man United at the start of the season. Quite simply, Adam, we know your thoughts on Jesse Lingard. We all love him. He's done a lot of good things for Man United. He's scored in the FA Cup final. He's been a very good player for Man United. He's lived the dream.
He's been on this channel.
He's not got any sort of handouts or anything like that. He's not like just played because he's knocking about. He's earned his place. He's been very good.
Can I tell you a story?
Go.
About Jesse Lingard. So after Stockholm, I left the stadium, and I know his family in it. I know his dad, his mum, his brother. They occasionally stop to us and speak to us after games. His brother's done a fan cam. His family have never done a fan cam, but they always liked us and they always want to chat to us and that. And I spoke to his dad after the Europa League final for about an hour, bro.
Really?
Or if it wasn't an hour, it was half an hour, but it felt like fucking ages. And he was
The 2017 Europa League final.
Yeah, so his dad and his uncle and everyone was there. The one we won, Stockholm.
17?
Stockholm.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to his dad about Jesse's career, about how big of a moment this was. And obviously, he'd won 2 trophies that season, and the family were on cloud 9. And he was speaking about his development and how Fergie had an issue with his build, his size.
Yeah.
Told him, go out on loan. You have to go out on loan. Jesse and his family didn't want him to. They then said, all right, we'll go out on loan. He didn't want to go out on loan. He was forced to. Goes out on loan to 3-4 different clubs, Blues, Derby, Leicester, all these different clubs. Builds himself up to when he's 22, he comes back to United and makes his debut. Fergie was right about Jesse Lingard, which I think is an amazing foresight in him, that he saw his stature and things being an issue and said, go and play your football. But also, Jesse Lingard had to work fucking hard to come back and get an opportunity. He comes back at one point I think Van Gaal's first season, he come back, got injured in the first game against Swansea, which we lost, and then got sent back out on loan. Like, he's had to fight for his spot at United. And to be fair, he had his first real dip in form. Okay, it was like 12 months. But his first real dip in form out on his ear. And I think we need to put a little bit of respect on Jesse Lingard's name. Because look, these players are great here. I'm not comparing the players at all. I'm not, because the player I'm about to mention did great things, one of the youngest players to appear at a World Cup, you know, all those things. But we remember Norman Whiteside till this day for his FA Cup winning goal. Not only because the FA Cup isn't held in such high regard now as it was then, that we don't look at that, but we should. The boy lived the dream for United, man.
Absolutely.
Scoring at Wembley a couple times, winner in the FA Cup final.
Tearing Arsenal apart on numerous occasions.
You get me? If he left today, you've lived the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly then, do you think he will leave? Whether it's on loan or permanently, do you think Jesse Lingard will be?
I'll be honest with you. We got told today by the family they don't know.
Right.
So at the moment, even they don't know.
Right.
Like whether he's going to stay or go. I think he'll leave though. And I'll tell you why. It's too good to be on the bench. I think if he was on the bench as like Donny isn't on the bench too. And like, you know, where he's next in line.
No Donny.
Like, I'm the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe he stays.
Yeah.
Because he knows how long a season is, how useful he can be to the squad. But if he's behind Ahmad and James, like, again, I don't want to make this about Daniel James, but the amount of game time he got last season, Jesse could have been doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it depends. If he's next in line, if he's player 12, he stays.
Yeah, yeah.
If he's player 18,
16,
17, he's off.
Yeah, I agree. Sajal says, I'm hoping Pogba's rumours end up like Rooney's every second or third year. He was going to leave, but ended up staying when he got more cash and United signed good players. I think we may see a little bit of that with Paul Pogba. I wouldn't be surprised if he signed an extension. Right, Adam, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back.
Apparently, we've been having too much of a conversation between ourselves there. We do apologise, guys. You know, we are interested in what you've got to say. We've got a few super chats as well.
Comments.
Sajal coming in with a super chat saying, I'm hoping Pogba's rumours end up like Rooney's.
That one, but that's nice.
You did?
Yeah.
But it's true.
That's how much of a conversation we're having. You didn't even hear me say that.
Yeah, but like, you know, we've got reading the comments, some people complaining.
Don't worry about it.
Sajal also sent a blank one in.
Well,
Charlie says do a recap.
Was a threat, I think.
To get a recap, you can just rewind the video.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, people will be sat here like, why are you repeating yourself again?
Yeah. Right, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back in the morning for the news from Old Trafford. Any updates, any latest news coming from Manchester United, we will be here for that. So make sure you check that one out. Again, if you want more details on the Jesse Lingard situation, what's going on, especially next season as well, and the expectations of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, check out the Paddock podcast from this afternoon. Me, Adam, Jay, Steve, all
Have you put it on
together.
iTunes and Spotify?
Yes, it's on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, check that out, or on YouTube, of course. Thank you very much, Adam, for joining me. Thank you to everyone at home for joining us as well.
Eid Mubarak to everyone celebrating tomorrow.
Happy Eid to everyone celebrating tomorrow. We'll see you in a bit.